Hey everyone, Sean here, and welcome back to another edition of After the Movie, and happy 4th of July. I got my patriotic shirt on, I got my boatload of fireworks, which I'm going to launch later on, and I got a movie here that we're going to be talking about. That is none other than the classic film itself, Independence Day. This is what I call the perfect summer blockbuster movie. You got a great cast in there, tons of action and spectacle, great score, just a fun payoff, like from beginning to end. Independence Day is amazing. This is by far Roland Emmerich's best movie. He's not even like some of his other films that I kind of like. Nothing's been able to come like close to what he was able to replicate in this thing, and he's tried it numerous times, even doing like an Independence Day 2. Couldn't quite replicate the success of what he did in the first movie. I mean, we've seen kind of landmarks in that destroyed and like this type of spectacle in other films, but this is the one that really kind of did it on a big, huge budget scale, really kind of for the first time, and the build up to it is really great. I mean, this movie sets the stakes and everything like right from the get-go. There's a lot of tension and build-up. It is establishing characters. Yeah, things are very simple, but these characters are all played by really good actors, and they're all kind of memorable, have the memorable one-liners in that too. They actually have arcs that they go through throughout the film. Yeah, it's nothing overtly complicated or anything like that, but it doesn't need to be. It's Independence Day. You have a large ensemble cast. You want us to kind of like these people. You want to kind of make us root for them, and you want to make us hate the aliens so we can watch the incoming conflict in that too. Humanity, of course, is at a complete disadvantage. Their technology is nowhere near to the level of what the aliens have in this film. And so they can't quite use their full firepower. Like, we are very vulnerable in this thing. They just unleashed these horrible weapons that just wiped out like every city like that's in sight. And the spectacle in this movie, like, my God, even till this day, it really holds up. I mean, they utilized a lot of models, some early CGI, and the combination of the two, like the image of the White House getting blown up, like that's still like a very iconic moment that we see in here, and just the build up to it when Jeff Goldblum's like, time's up, and just the big, huge explosion. That's all awesome. And there's some pretty hokey, ridiculous stuff in this movie for sure. Like, the president gets into the jet and fights off the aliens himself. Like, that's something you'd only really see in a movie like this, but I still, like, love the hell out of it. There's some pretty silly stuff. Even, like, the little supporting characters. Like, you have the one guy from Mrs. Doubtfire. It's like, David. Oh, my God. I gotta call my mom. I gotta call my lawyer. Forget my lawyer. Like, that's funny stuff to me. And then you have Randy Quaid as this kind of drunk hillbilly sorts who claims to have been abducted by aliens years ago, and he's kind of a little bit estranged from his family. Like, he finds the means to redeem himself in one of the most memorable bits of all time. Hello, boys! I'm back! I mean, just that moment and just the spectacle right there, you just kind of want to stand up and cheer for that. Like, there's actual, like, redemption in, like, some of these characters in that, too. And, of course, Jeff Goldblum was great. Will Smith, this is the movie, like I said, that launched his career. I mean, he came off The Fresh Prince. He did Bad Boys, but this is the film that really like put him on the map and made him the big movie star. Because then after this, he did Men in Black. But of course, he has the great memorable one-liners where he just punches the alien. Welcome to Earth. Like, he's so charming and charismatic in this film that it really, like, he's really great on screen. I like the scenes he has with Jeff Goldblum. I kind of wish they interacted a little bit more, but they play off each other so well in the limited amount of screen time. Kind of surprised they didn't do more movies together, to my knowledge, but that would have been great to see. Goldblum, of course, great as always. He's still kind of playing off his Jurassic Park Ian Malcolm type character, but, not quite the over-the-top Goldblum parody. Like, because Jeff Goldblum, when he plays, like, in a lot of movies nowadays, he pretty much just plays himself, but like a parody version of himself. Like, his characters feel a little bit, like, goofier than they were. He's just kind of having fun. Like, he sees all the, like, Jeff Goldblum impersonations. It's like, I'm going to do that, just kind of have fun with it, and that's what we love to see. But here, like I said, he's still, like, very Ian Malcolm-esque in some ways, but still really entertaining in the film. Like, he can be funny when he needs to be, and his line delivery is still pretty memorable, and the stuff with him and his dad. God, like I said, the supporting cast is huge in this movie. I mean, you have Robert Loggia, you have the guy who plays his dad, even little parts like Vivica A. Fox, like, stands out in her little bits as, the Will Smith's, like, girlfriend, wife, sort of, are going to be wife by the end of the movie. So, like, just everyone just kind of stands out. Like, I mean, I remember the little bits, too, which a lot of summer blockbusters, they don't have that. They'll have maybe, like, one character, but here, like I said, Like the general, like for a big, huge ensemble cast like this, to set this up, and this movie is really efficient with what it does. It sets the stakes right away, kind of gives you the character introductions, and kind of sets up like where their arcs potentially go, and then they're kind of thrust in this unwinnable situation. They have to think smart to kind of take these aliens in that too. The explanation for what they do, like I said, this is the 1990s, so they use a computer virus. I guess it taught a lot of people to get your antivirus software up to date. I'm surprised they never utilized that in the sequel, though. It's like the first movie had the whole antivirus thing, which basically took down these highly advanced alien technologies, but they didn't update their what was like Avast antivirus software or whatever, or Trend Micro or Norton Security or whatnot. But yeah, it did teach us antivirus software. It can even bring down a superpowered alien or like race or whatever. So yeah, there's some good things. We don't know necessarily where the aliens come from or anything like that. They just come to Earth to blow shit up, and we got to stop them. It's a simple plot. This is, to me, like I said, a fun summer blockbuster. David Arnold's score is one of my favorites of the 1990s. Like that do. Like, it's such a triumphant feel, but it also has that sense of dread to it as well. It really plays well in each sequence, and this is a beautifully shot movie as well. I mean, the spectacle on display, because this is the first movie to really kind of do something like this on this large of scale, like especially during that time period, and it's fun. Like, it is really entertaining. I mean, like I said, the image of the White House and everything else getting blown up, iconic. Like, it really is imagery that sticks with you even till this day. There's a reason people watch this movie every year, because it's a fun movie. There actually are some moments that still kind of get me to this day, like the one scene where they have Brent Spiner's character who's kind of like strangled by the alien like tentacles or whatever, and then they're like kind of looking in the glass, and he like kind of jumps forward. Like, that jump scare is still, even to this day, it kind of get me from time to time, because I'm still waiting for it. I was like, shh. Like, that one's pretty good. He's like, peace, no peace. Like, that stuff is great to me. Like I said, spectacle's really great. Yeah, there's some cliched, hokey stuff in here, but I mean, I just honestly don't care. Like, Independence Day is a movie that it's efficient with storytelling. It's simple, doesn't need to be overly complicated or anything like that. Its main goal is to entertain the audience. It's got memorable bits to it, memorable one-liners, and it's great action, great spectacle, great score. It's beautifully shot, and it's a fun movie. Like, this is, to me, a quintessential summer blockbuster. Emmerich's tried to recreate it several times, never quite been able to, but the way it kind of mixes all those, like, everything just kind of came together so well. And too, like, with less capable actors, I don't think this material would have been as elevated as it is, but because you got really solid actors in here playing these parts, playing, like, straightforward, it really works. Like I said, because you have a big ensemble cast with lots of memorable, like, performances throughout. The alien designs, I mean, like I said, it's kind of a typical, like, alien design. Nothing that never really, like, wowed me or anything like that, but it's simple, it's effective. They even go to, like, Area 51 at one point. But in the movie, it also, like, takes time to make sure to have some bits of levity with it, with some of the humor. There's some goofy, over-the-top stuff. Like I said, the president getting into the jet and fighting off aliens because he was a former, like, fighter pilot is pretty silly. But, damn it, I want to follow this guy, especially when he gets his speech in there. Like, I just want to just salute the flag and wave it around or something like that. But, like I said, Bill Pullman's speech, fantastic. My favorite movie president in history. I mean, in terms of fictional presidents, like, hell, I'd want to follow this guy. I mean, look at, like, how he is as a leader. That speech still sticks with me to this day. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day. Beautiful. Fantastic speech. It's been parodied countless times, but it's one that sticks with people. I'm kind of disappointed the sequel didn't try to recreate it. I mean, but then again, can you really recreate the perfect speech? I don't think so. I mean, can you really follow up that speech? Because it is that good. I don't know. I don't think so. But Bill Pullman's great. Will Smith's great. Goldblum's great. Randy Quaid's pretty good in this thing too. Robert Loggia. Just the whole cast in general. Like, it's a great ensemble bit. There's some funny lines in there too. Great spectacle action. Like I said, it's the quintessential fun, entertaining summer blockbuster movie. It knows exactly what it is. It delivers the goods. And the audience goes home happy. And even to this day, something close to 30 years later at this point, my God, I'm feeling old. Independence Day really holds up. And I love it. Like I said, is it one of my favorite films of all time? Wouldn't necessarily call it, like, I wouldn't put it in, like, my top 10 or 20 or anything like that. But in terms of, like, summer blockbusters, this is one of my favorites. Like, it's Roland Emmerich's best movie by far. It's awesome. And it's a really good time. I'm sure most people have seen it by now. But what do you think of Independence Day? There's a reason it's held up all these years later. There's a reason people still talk about it. Like, that's to me, like I said, quintessential fun summer blockbuster entertainment that leaves the audience, that the audience goes home happy. Doesn't have to be incredibly thoughtful or super intellectual or anything like that. You just got to have a simple premise, likable leads, and deliver the goods. And Independence Day, it doesn't aspire to be anything more than that, but like what it does deliver is something really entertaining. So, yep, like I said, the 90s had a bunch of these movies like this. Like, this one is one I think of that's like entertaining 90s blockbuster. Twister is another one. Those are two off the top of my head. I'm sure there's a bunch more, but Independence Day, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Sequel, could have been a lot better, but I kind of had a good laugh out of some of it, but it doesn't really stick up, like, hold up like the first one did. So, although I do kind of wonder where that third Independence Day movie would have gone. And also, like, what if Will Smith was in it? Would have been a success or a trilogy or something like that? It kind of leaves me disappointed that they haven't really followed up with that, because it ends on a cliffhanger, whereas this one's a self-contained story. So, but it did have some neat ideas. Like this whole, like, trench warfare, like ground warfare with some of the aliens that survive. That alone, like, sounds like an interesting premise I want to see. So, yeah. I love Independence Day. Go check it out. It's pretty great. So, also, hope you all have a fantastic Independence Day. Happy 4th of July or whatnot. Check the movie out. Enjoy some good food. Launch some fireworks. But be very smart and safe about it, too, because a lot of people are really stupid. I watched a video just the other day about somebody lighting fireworks off in their house and just do like everything. I'm like, what a bunch of idiots. Just be smart, be safe, and have a good 4th of July. See you later.